Hi everyone, so I wanted to show you how to do a patch test. Obviously there's a scratch test or a patch test in person where you can pop some pigment behind the client's ear, but sometimes you can do that and you've actually met them for a consultation and pick colours with them, but you also want to give them the forms to go away and you want to give them an extra patch test. So I like to give my clients a patch test with a nice little present basically. So in my box I have my pre-procedure advice form that tells them lots of things to not do, the sensitivity patch test form, their medical health form, and also their topical anaesthetic form. So I like to fold them and pop them in the box. I have OCD, I think I've just put one upside down, I have. Pop them in there, and then I have a little gauze bag and I obviously pop, please find your patch test with numbing cream. So I have two plasters, hypoallergenic plasters. As you can see, I wrote numbing cream patch test and pigment patch test. The reason I did this is once a client actually rang me saying why have I put dirty plasters in, so I like to record what they are. So use whatever pigment brand you're wanting to use. So I'm going to pop some pigment on there. Now it will dry out, but the form does state if your pigment dries out, then drop some water on it and some numbing cream. And then I just tend to just usually let that dry as it leaks everywhere. You can see it's started to leak already. And then let's move these out of the way of my white table. So I'll just pop them there, just let them dry for a few moments and then we'll fold them down. I also like to pop a little bit of numbing cream in a pot, so that when they actually are reading all the information and then on the treatment day on my pre-procedure advice form, it tells them to rub a little bit of numbing cream on beforehand. It just makes the treatment nice and comfortable. So now pop that in there. Just wait for them to dry a little bit and I'll pop them in there, and then I'll pop all that in my box and seal it all, and then I would pop a little ribbon on it. Obviously it would be sealed. I'll do that once this is dried. So I hope that makes sense. Let's have a look. So my numbing cream patch test, and then I would close it and then gently pop it into my gauze. My pigment patch test, close it and just let that dry for a moment before I pop it into my gauze bag. So it can be a bit messy, so be careful. So I tend to do about 3 or 4 at once. So that's all there waiting for that one to dry. I don't like to do too many. In the past I've done like 10 and then these really do dry out. So depending on how busy you are and what consultations you've got booked in that week, I would pre-do however many that you've got booked in. So say for example if I've got 4 consultations booked in, I'll always make sure that on the side I have 4 patch tests already made up. If I've got a quieter week, I just always have 2 or 3 already ready made. But I hope that makes sense. This is my version of a patch test. You can do obviously your own version. Excuse me, some people will just hand this and then they will hand a little bag. Some people put these in nice envelopes. You can do whatever you want. This obviously has took me years to do. I didn't do this in the beginning, it was just in an envelope. Lots of people still do envelopes. So entirely up to you. Just please make sure that you do a numbing patch test and you do a pigment patch test on a plaster to make sure that they've definitely had a patch test. And in an ideal world, what you do want to have is you want them to have them in your clinic, so you can put a patch test behind their ear for example, or pop it on their arm and make sure that you've actually physically done a patch test. So lots of different options available to you, but whatever you do, you must make sure that they've had one and they fill their forms in and bring the forms with them on the treatment day to fill in the other forms that we've already discussed.